If you're over 40 or you're over 50, like I am, and you need a really easy everyday makeup look, that's what I've got for you today. This look is super simple. A lot of products do double duty, so it won't take you long at all to be able to do this everyday makeup look. Hi, I'm Dawn with Just Doing My Best. I hope that you're having a great day. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm here every week with a brand new video for women over 40 and women over 50 who just want to look and feel our very best where we are right now. Sometimes it's fashion, but sometimes it's makeup. So today, this is my super easy everyday makeup tutorial. This is how I do my makeup every single day. And I'm featuring a few products that do double duty to make the job even easier. Now, when I get to concealer and eyebrows, I'm going to go over that part pretty quickly, so you can either rewind that to catch whatever you think you may have missed, or I've already done a concealer video and an eyebrow video, and so feel free to watch those in their entirety, and I will also link those in the description of this video. All of the products that I'm using today, I will link in the description below this video. So in case I forget to mention them or you want to find them really easily, you can just find those in the description below this video. Be sure that you're always applying your makeup with clean hands because you don't want to add any other dirt or any other oils to your face, especially the older we get and the more delicate our face is. Now, the first thing that I always start with is a primer, and this is the one that I use, and again, I'll link it below. So usually about a pump and a half is usually good to do my entire face. And whether you're using a primer or a foundation, whatever it is, make sure that you're blending really well along your hairline and your jawline. You never want to get that line where you can see exactly where your makeup stopped underneath your jaw or in your hairline. So be sure that you're blending that in really, really well. Now, the primer that I just put on my face serves as a primer, a foundation, as well as SPF. And now I'm going to put a primer on my eyelids. And if you'd like to have a little bit more in-depth video about primers and kind of discussing those a little bit, be sure to leave me a comment and I could definitely make that for you. Even though I don't use a lot of eyeshadow, I still really like a primer for my eyelids because of all the veins and everything. Even if I don't wear a lot of makeup, a lot of eyeshadow, still later on in the day, that tends to kind of fade away and then you can still all see those veins and everything. So even if I'm not using a lot of things on my eyelids, I still really like a primer above my eyes. Now I'm going to do my concealer, and again, I'm going to go through this really, really quickly, but if you'd like a little bit more in-depth about concealer, be sure to check out my video that I did about concealer. So I'm going to go ahead and do my under eye concealer. You'll see that I'm going to use two different colors and then blend that in with a brush. For a long time, I didn't use a brush, and then I found a concealer brush that I really, really liked, and it just blends it in so nicely. You see that I've got two different colors because we need a little bit more lightness around our eyes, and then I'm using the darker one also on all the spots that I really want to conceal and around my mouth and my nose. Since I used my concealer brush in that lighter concealer, I want to wipe some of that off before I go and use it in the darker concealer around my mouth and the sunspots. I definitely want those sunspots to have the darker of the two colors on there. If it's lighter, then what's going to happen is it's going to make them more pronounced, which what I want is I want to camouflage them and have them blend in with my face. So I want to pay particular attention to making sure that the lighter of the two concealers is not on my brush when I go to do those sunspots. Now, like I talk about in my concealer video, I could obviously spend a whole lot more time with my concealer, but since this is everyday makeup, this is every day, day after day, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. I'm not going for a Glamour magazine photo shoot. I just want to put my makeup on and go. I am touching up all of the concern points for me, which are mostly a little bit of redness, the sunspots, but mostly the dark circles underneath my eyes. Could I spend more time on it? Absolutely. Do I want to do that every day, day after day? Probably not. So now I have my primer on, or I use a primer foundation in one, and I have my concealer on. I'm going to now set this with a setting powder. If you have dry skin, this may be a step that you skip. I have really oily skin. Even at this age, I have really oily skin, so I really need a setting powder. I'm going to dab that sunspot again with the powder. Now for blush, I really like something a little bit pink and toward the nude family. I think a more pink blush, especially as we get older, we need that more pink, more flush, more awake look to our face. And so I really like to concentrate on the apples of the cheeks, a little bit closer to the eye. As we get older, that color is just draining from our face. So we need all the help we can get just to look a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more awake, and having it a little bit more pink and then closer to our eyes, the better it is and the healthier we look. Since I am going for that more awake, alert, healthy look, you did see me put it on the apples of my cheeks, on the brow bone, but also on the forehead a little bit, on the edge of my nose, on the end of my nose, just to make it look like I'm a little bit healthier. Maybe I've been out in the sun. So that can definitely make the blush do double duty. And if you'd like to see more double duty makeup tips, things that can save you time and maybe a little bit of money, please be sure to put in the comments double duty, and I will definitely make a video for that. After I put my blush on, that's when I like to put a little something on my lips, just so that I can get a better feel for the color and whether or not I need a little bit more or a little bit less. I might put a little bit of gloss on later, but for now, like I said, this kind of gives me a better feel right now for kind of which direction I need to go. If I've got a little something on my lips, I can go, ooh, gosh, I still look pretty pale, or okay, yeah, I'm going in the right direction. Now I'm going to start filling in my eyebrows. And again, I've already done an eyebrow tutorial, so you can definitely catch that for the whole thing. Or since I'm going to go over this pretty quickly, feel free to rewind this as often as you want to. I definitely recommend, if you're not already doing your eyebrows, please consider doing your eyebrows. If you're like me, then mine are very, very sparse. And with them being very, very sparse, if I don't do anything to them, it's just going to age me. So if I fill in my eyebrows and I do it on a great color that matches my roots, and you've got a good arch on them, oh my gosh, that can take 10 years off of your look, making you look so much younger. It's a great frame to your face, so I absolutely recommend doing your eyebrows if you're not already. And I will link this eyebrow pencil. I absolutely love it. It's a cleaner brand. It's mechanical, so you don't have to sharpen it. And bonus, it's only like about $6. Now, when I do my eyebrows, one of the things that I like to do is when I am doing this portion, which is the kind of the fatter portion of the eyebrow, if you will, one of the things that I like to do is if I look like I'm getting it right, great. If I don't, then what I like to do is kind of make almost like a thin line across the bottom of it to kind of keep me in check, kind of like coloring. Like if I draw that little bitty line that you may not be able to see, but I can see, it kind of keeps me drawing inside the lines, if you will. For me, eyebrows are kind of like, you kind of want to draw it in and then color it in, so you're kind of outlining where you want it to be and then coloring it in. And then I'm taking either the brush that goes on the end of the eyebrow pencil and kind of blending it in a little bit so it's not so dark and scary. Or you can buy one of these cheap little eyebrow brushes at the dollar store, at the drugstore, and you can then use it to just kind of blend it in just a little bit so that your eyebrow isn't so super dark and kind of scary looking. It just kind of tones it down a little bit. And I don't know if you saw what I did just a second ago, that, you're always wanting to see, right? So you kind of go up like this so that you can kind of see what you're doing. Be sure then that you're relaxing your face so that when you get done, they're going to look how they normally look when you're talking to people or in real life. And I definitely want to make short, quick strokes. So that between the blending and the short, quick strokes, it looks a little bit more natural. I probably do spend the most time on my eyebrows for a couple of reasons. One is because, they're gone. So I am filling them in. But also because they're framing my face. I want them to be symmetrical. But the other reason is when you start doing them, you'll find that you're coming at this one at a different angle from this one. You're applying more pressure or less pressure on this one versus this one. So I really want to take an extra minute or two on my eyebrows to make sure that I've got them in the right place, that I've got them the right color, that one's not darker than the other, that one's not longer than the other. So So I do take an extra minute on my eyebrows because it's such an important part of your face and can really just really age you or really make you look a whole lot younger. Now, because this is everyday makeup, I'm not going to use a traditional eyeliner. If you wanted to see an eyeliner video, I do have one, so I encourage you to watch that. But what I'm going to use is an eyeshadow stick. I'm just going to put it on the top and the bottom really quick. It's super forgiving, but still does add a little bit of definition to your eyes. Super easy, super forgiving. If you've got too much, you can just wipe it off. If you want to add a little bit more, you can, and it doesn't take any time at all. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on mascara. When you put on mascara, be sure that you're using an eyelash curler. It can just really make all the difference in your mascara because you want that to curl, you want that to lift, and that lash curler will put those lashes in the place that you want them before you even put on mascara. Now here's a little bonus tip for you about curling your eyelashes. What you want to do is when you put your eyelashes in the curler, you want to crimp it, then move your arm, crimp it, move your arm, crimp it. So you're curling the entire lash versus putting it on and then just crimping it, which could lead to a crimp right in the middle of your lashes, and you want to curl that entire lash. And by doing it 1, 2, 3, then you're curling the entire lash and really opening up that eye. Now that I have it all done, I'm going to put on a little bit of gloss. And I love a slightly nude, slightly pink gloss far more than I like a dark color or a dark lipstick, especially as we get older because our lips are getting so thin. So it's beautiful for every day. But it's also when you use a nude gloss or maybe a little bit more pink, what it does is it adds a little bit of color without emphasizing the fact that if you're like me, my lips are very, very thin and they're getting thinner as I'm getting older. So I don't want all the attention on my lips. I want to kind of draw the attention away. So a gloss in a nude or slightly pink does that perfectly. So things that make this a faster, everyday makeup look are things like using blush on the brow bone instead of using eyeshadow. Instead of using an eyeliner, just using that eyeshadow stick over and under the eyes. That eyeshadow stick is so fast and so forgiving that it just makes the everyday eye makeup look go just like that. If you liked this everyday makeup tutorial, be sure to like this video and give it a thumbs up and definitely subscribe. And I hope that you'll come over to Facebook and Instagram at Just Doing My Best and find me and say hi. For now, I hope you go out today and you're blessed and you do your best.